My name's Jeff Davis. Uh, I was a police officer for 10 years. Um, During the course of my career as a police officer, I was a patrol officer for 5, and then I became an SRO. And during the course of my time being an SRO, I worked a lot of child abuse cases, all sorts of child abuse cases, and stuff. While I was a police officer, toward the latter end of my career of being a police officer, I was getting to a point where I was starting to struggle, but I didn't realize I was starting to struggle. And really, my closest friend, Brian Russo, um, he was kind of going through some stuff, and Brian told me about this thing called Warriors Ascent and how he went to it and how it changed him, and had been on me and been on me and been on me, and get to the point where he would get mad at me, um, because I wouldn't take the dive to go. Um, and then, unfortunately, back in December of 2021, Brian unexpectedly passed away. Um, One of the hardest things I've ever experienced. And from that point on, once he was gone, I knew that I needed to do something, and Warriors Ascent had always been in the back of my mind, and I just hadn't gotten to the point where I was ready, so to speak. Um, but I needed it because there were some things going on. I had a really big bomb go off with somebody that is very near and dear to me. I mean, very near and dear to me. And a big bomb went off, and I almost ruined that. And that's when I decided to pull the trigger, and I came to Warriors Ascent. That day I showed up, man, I'll never forget it. I thought, oh my God, what have I done? Where am I at? What what am I about to get into? And I'll never forget walking in and meeting Tammy and meeting Christy, meeting Mike, three of the greatest people I've ever had the opportunity of meeting. And we talked, and as guys started showing up, things were kind of quiet. Um, it it started to really hit me that, man, I'm not the only one that's messed up, that has difficulty dealing with things. And we the day started, we walked, or we sat down and went around the room and introduced everybody. And if I remember right, I think I might have been the one that kind of started off the whole crying thing, and because it hit me. But I knew, after I introduced myself, I knew I was in the right place. I knew I was in the right place, and I knew this was a place that was going to give me the tools that I needed to to get to where I'm at today. And all the guys, all of them, I connected with all of them. By day 2, we were we were telling each other I love you. First time I ever met Carrie Stewart, big long hair, wearing shorts, and Brian would always tell me, Carrie is the bomb, and Carrie is it. That is true. Carrie is the bomb. Mike is awesome. Carrie keeps telling us, I love you. I appreciate you. I'm glad you're here. And that was something so new to me, but now that's part of my everyday vocabulary to whoever I talk to. I appreciate everybody. I try to appreciate everybody. Um, Listening to everybody's stories, because no one story is better than the other. What it's about is listening, and how what I found, I was able to resonate and recognize and understand what some of the other guys were feeling. that they didn't know how to deal with some things. Some of the things they didn't know how to deal with, I didn't know how to deal with. So we were all able to learn from one another. The day that was day one, and we started. I mean, we dove right into it. The food, the eating healthy was awesome. And then day two, it was just this process. And Mike kept telling us, trust the process. It's a process that I trust with everything inside of me today. Everything inside of me. Um, the biggest, the one, the day that really hit me was day two. Well, there was 2 days that really, really hit me. When we went and walked the labyrinth, they gave us this rock, and we had to walk this, and that was my time to really focus on the people that I'd hurt or the people that had hurt me. And I remember standing in the middle of the labyrinth after I was done walking anyway, and I stood there forever, just focusing on all of that. And I had a really big emotional moment. But that moment was something that needed to happen because I was able to start the forgiving process within myself of forgiving myself for the people I've hurt, forgiving the people that have hurt me, and I was able to, the way I had that rock in my hand, and I was able to put all that stuff into that rock, and I didn't want that rock anymore, so I threw it, and came out of it. It was heavy, 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 deep, deep shit, deep shit. Um, but good, all in a good way. And then writing the letters that we had to write, sitting around the bonfire, reading them out loud, and knowing people were there. Um, Jeff was the one that kind of was head of that, and we got done doing that, and I remember reading that and putting my letter in the bonfire, and it's like, okay, I don't have to carry that around with me anymore. That was a great feeling. And then we went and did the leap of faith. Man, probably the biggest adrenaline rush I had ever had, minus being a cop. And it was the greatest feeling because I knew what I was leaping toward. I knew what I was going for. I knew where I was headed. I knew it was going to be time. It's going to take time. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect at all. But the things Warriors Ascent did for me, I'm 100% convinced Warriors Ascent can do the same for anybody else that's struggling and needs help. What they taught me, another thing, big key point for me, was it's okay to need help. It's it's okay that you struggle, and it's okay to admit I need help. It's okay to cry. You know, us first responders, military people, male or female, hey, we kind of get this persona or feel like we're not supposed to do that because we're the badasses, I guess. Because I'm the furthest thing from a badass, but um, people look at us like we're supposed to fix everybody else's problems. Well, that's what happens. But then then we put our own stuff behind us and try to bury it, and then over time, stuff starts to come out, and people are like, "Wow, what the hell? What the hell's going on here? What's this guy's problem? What's this person's problem? That's not the guy I know." And today, after coming out of cohort 52, I can honestly say I'm in a better place and I feel peace coming to my life today. I feel happiness. I've had so many people tell me, Jeff, you're a different person. You're smiling again. The old Jeff that we knew from however long ago is starting to come back. And that's a great feeling, knowing that that old guy is coming back. Because that's the guy I've always been. this guy I've always wanted to be. And that guy got lost for a little while, but that guy's not going to get lost anymore. I love it. It's awesome. It is awesome. The biggest thing that I brought home for me, and there's a multitude of things. For me, I'm learning patience and learning to be mindful in my feelings, and learning to have those methodical thoughts and slow my thought process down. Because if I don't slow my thought process down and process everything and have, like what Carrie would tell us, the deep diaphragmic breaths that we would do when we would do our yoga nidra or have some mindfulness or we would meditate. I If I don't slow that process down and I start overthinking things, and then the faster my thought process goes, the more I overthink, and then I become fixated. So for me, breathing, yoga nidra, methodical thought process, those diaphragmic breaths, slowing down, thinking things through. You know, they talk to us about, you know, stage one, stage two, reaction versus non-reaction, the process. I've always been a reactor, and so I've had to learn to. There's times I'm like, man, somebody somebody that I got a response for that, but I can't do that because what comes out of my mouth I can't take back. So I have to slow that down, and I'm learning to slow that down. So those are the biggest things that I've brought home from me, or for me, from being at Warriors Ascent for cohort 52. So thinking is huge for me. I have to think things through before I react to it. But the biggest thing I'm going to say, it's the biggest thing Brian would tell me, Jeff, you can't bury it. Guys, for anybody else that's out there, anybody that sees this, I'm telling you, this is the greatest thing that could ever happen to somebody. Don't bury it, because when you bury it, that's when things get worse. You think that you don't need it. It's okay to admit that you need help. It's okay to cry. It's okay to say, I don't know what to do. If anybody is out there that needs help and wants help but doesn't know how to go about it, or needs to talk, please get with me. I will talk to anybody. I will go to bat. I will fight to the death for this program. Um, don't bury things. Don't bury things. Take that step. Take that step, and if you take that step, and over the next 5 days of you being at Warriors Ascent, when you get there, really focus on what you need to work on and what you want out of it, and when you're done, start applying it every day. Apply it every day, because we're creatures of habit. If we don't continue to apply and practice, it's like being a professional baseball player or football player. You're not going to get any better if you don't practice it and apply it. You have to apply it. Take that step, guys. Take that step. I will talk to anybody. I will talk to anybody. If you need it, it's okay. It's okay. You'll get through it, because me and everybody else, of all the guys that were in my cohort, we're getting through it, and we all talk. We have a group chat. We talk. If it's not every day, it's every other day, and we all talk and we check on one another. That's what you need. That's what it helps me. If I know I can help one of my guys that was in my cohort, I've done something. I feel great about that. That's my advice. That's my advice to anybody that needs help, that's struggling. It's okay to struggle. Just get the help. Don't put it off anymore.